The last video I did, I was talking about attitude, and today it's a short story. I'm gonna talk about the importance of attitude when it comes to sales, right? So I was with a good friend of mine, and we live in a small town, and in this town, there's really not much to do. And so occasionally we just walk around talking, as people will do. And we went into a rent-a-center. And we went in the rent-a-center, we were greeted by a fella, kind of a small, pudgy fella, kind of looked like a dwarf with a beard. He had glasses on. He says, "Hi, how can I help you?" And I said, "Oh, nothing much. Me and our friend, we're just looking around." And he's like, "Oh, is there anything you're looking for?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, man, I'm just, and I'm saying this all in a joking tone. I'm like, yeah, I was just showing my buddy where not to buy a computer, because when we went in there, we had, I just had gotten done telling my friend, how terrible the Rent-A-Center computers were, and immediately, see, I've been in sales for over 10 years, man, so the hustle's natural. There's really nothing I'm surprised about when it comes to customers, okay? So the guy's face immediately turns red and he starts screaming at me, "Get out of my store!" You know what I mean? And he's like flipping out. He let that, and that was a joke, man. I had a positive attitude with it too, but he didn't take it as a joke. See, he was a terrible sales guy. He was yelling at me, "Get out of my store, don't you come back." I was like, "Hey man, I am so sorry. I would have never said that had I known it would have made you so upset." You know what I mean? And as funny as I saw his face, it kind of, the color started to return to his face, and then it's like he thought about it for a second again and then got mad again. He's like, "No, get out of here." But anyways, long story short, if the guy had handled it correctly and not let an emotion cloud his judgment, he could have said something as easily as like, "You're right. We don't have the best computers in town. I agree. But there's nowhere else in town that you can walk in with $20 and walk out with a computer for your school, your home." See, now that was the rebuttal I had, and that was off the top of my head at the time. I'm like, and I couldn't believe he couldn't overcome, that kind of objection, or instead of reacting properly, professionally, he let the emotion just cloud his judgment and started yelling at me. This is really surprising because I'm a generally likable guy, and I don't get this kind of reaction. It was like one of the very few times in my life somebody's flipped out at me. But anyways, like I said, that's just an example of how not having the right attitude can really blow up your chance for success or something. I mean, he doesn't know. I mean, I could have bought everything in the house if he hadn't yelled at me or whatever, instead of just reacted to such a line. Anyways, thanks for staying tuned. I'll be uploading another video here pretty soon. I'm probably going to get into some more specific sales tactics. Anyways, thank you very much, and like and subscribe.